So what are our main challenges? And that's my second part, of the lecture, is growing through challenges. And I would like to demonstrate in a way that European challenges are shaping and strengthening the European project. And I will take 3 examples: Brexit, the Euro crisis, and the migration issue. When you look at Brexit, that of course, we are all aware of, because the referendum will take place in less than a month now. A Brexit would, of course, represent in a way going backward for the European projects. It would be, and it would be the first time ever, actually, that the member states would decide, actually, to exit the European Union. The economic consequences would be, of course, very important. And who will be, actually, the most of the consequences? The UK. So the UK is, anyway, the first country to be concerned. So the consequences of a Brexit would be important for trade. It would be, for UK trade. It would be important for a foreign direct investment into the UK. It will be important for the service sector, and especially the financial services sector. And it will, of course, have some consequences on exchange rate and the weight of the pound. Europe and France have fought, to keep the coherence and the integrity of the Eurozone, and at the same time, also, we have tried to help David Cameron to accommodate, some of his concern. But by the end of the day, it's up really to David Cameron and to the UK citizen to decide about what kind of Europe they want and what kind of relationship between the UK and Europe they want. We are talking here about a democratic process, so it's really up to the UK citizen to decide about the future of their membership to the UK. What is sure anyway is that there will be no free rider, and it's not a sentence, that is light in terms of consequences, and that sentence, there will be no free rider. It's a sentence that has been pronounced by Monsieur le Président Juncker, who is, as you know, the President of the European Commission. But what does this mean, Brexit, for the European projects? It means that we have to work on the day after. Whatever the outcome of the referendum will be, we want to be sure that the European project, A, will still be a living project, second, work in progress, and that third, actually, whatever the outcome is, there will be a new project, actually, on the table. And I can tell you right away that France and Germany are working on a new project for Europe, which is not a different European project in a way, but looking at options like, for example, looking at what a differentiated Europe could mean for the European project. Because definitely what we don't want, and that's also something that France and Germany don't want, we don't want what we call a Europe à la carte, It's not a menu. You just don't pick up, what you like, and you don't take what you don't like. So that's a very, very strong statement. Now, when you look at the Euro crisis, there also you can tell that the EU emerged stronger from the Euro crisis. The European Monetary Union that was formed, in 1999 is, in a way, the materialization of the setting up of the euro as a single currency in 2001. And that's something which is very special, 2001. I was in Brussels. That was my first year for my position in Brussels. And really being able to see, by your own eyes the fact that from one day you were using, you know, the Belgian francs at that time, because I was in Brussels, and the second day, you know, using euro, it's something which is really amazing. And I think for people really who were there at that time, it's a very concrete, you know, realization of the European project. So with the euro, we of course have a central bank, the ECB, a set of rules and disciplines to coordinate fiscal and economic policies between member states. But of course, you know, in the meantime, 2007, 2008, came the global economic and financial crisis, which started in the US, may I remember, and not in Europe. But anyway, developed into a sovereign debt crisis in Europe from 2009. And somehow also almost threatened the euro area of disintegration. The crisis made the weaknesses, you know, of the EMU more visible, and it was really a major challenge for the Eurozone. France took her part, pressing for a united front, a more resilient Europe to crisis, and the strengthening of the convergence of economic and employment conditions within member states. The Eurozone finally has managed to show its ability to correct the flaws inherent to the Maastricht Treaty. First, the EU reinforced the economic and fiscal governance of the Eurozone with the reform of the Stability and Growth Pact. I'm sorry, these acronyms are very technical, but I'll be more than happy to get into details if you have any questions on them. Second, we created a banking union aiming at restoring confidence in the banking sector and reversing financial fragmentation with a single supervisor within the ECB, and rules for banking resolutions were adopted. Third, crisis management tools were introduced, the European Stability Mechanism and the outright monetary transaction program of the ECB, allowing to put an end to pressure on the sovereign debt markets. So these measures have in a way made the euro area more resilient and robust, and new projects are also being developed, you know, which will also strengthen the Eurozone, like the Juncker investment plan to bridge the gap between the different member states in terms of investment, the definition also of a fiscal stance, the capital market union also complementing the banking union with a common deposit guarantee scheme. So what is a deposit guarantee scheme? I mean, just 1 minute on that. It's a scheme that will guarantee for all European citizens in case of a bank bankruptcy, a certain amount of money that will be guaranteed depending on the amount of the deposit they have in each bank. And that is at the European Union level, i.e. the countries participating to the euro. So France believes that there is still space anyway to go further, especially when you look at the monetary European Union. And the President of the Republic, François Hollande, has proposed actually his will to renew European institutions within the Eurozone, advocating also for a Eurozone common budget, a parliament that might be different from the European Parliament, and an economic government. So in a way, the Eurozone could become actually the core of a more sustainable and strengthened European project. So, but I'll come back to that later during question time. The third example that I would like to share with you is the issue of migration and the so-called migrant crisis. This is, of course, you know, a major disruption for Europe because it concerns both our external borders as well as our internal borders. Well, actually, we don't have any more internal borders, but there was a risk actually of countries, you know, re-establishing actually internal borders. And it is, of course, you know, very urgent that Europe strengthen and fully manage its borders and especially in a way regain control of its external borders. And the task is really daunting. Therefore, we have been working with Turkey, because Turkey is a major source actually for migration, and we have agreed with Turkey on March the 18th an agreement that will help to substantially decrease illegal crossing into Europe. Just one figure to give you the magnitude actually of the migrant crisis. In 2015, 1.8 million people cross illegally Europe's external borders. And among the 1.8 million, 1.2 million were asylum seekers. So we are not talking about small numbers, we are talking about huge numbers. And when you look at Germany, because Germany has really, beared actually the weight of the crisis, there are right now over 1 million actually migrants in Germany, whether legal or illegal. So we are really talking about big numbers there. So working with Turkey in order actually to prevent Turkey, to send, illegal migrants to Europe, relocating also among the member states the asylum seekers in order to avoid to have only some countries actually welcoming the asylum seekers, and at the same time also fighting, against the traffickers, because these people are also responsible for illegal migration. We also have been working with some of the countries, which for the time being are countries where we do see a lot of migrants, a country like Lebanon or Jordan, and we are helping them actually to cope, with migration. But we will, of course, never succeed if we cannot find a way out of Iraq and Syria crisis, because, of course, a lot of the migration found his origin, in this part of the world.